South Africa, we have been through too much. We've been through so much, and every single month of this year proved it. The scandals, the corruption, the political killings, the global embarrassments, the lies, the cover ups, the drama, the things politicians pray you forget. But here on News and Politics, we don't forget. We document, we expose, we remember. This is the February edition of the year we refuse to forget, a month where the world came for us, where our own leaders failed us, where scandals erupted back to back, where South Africans held the line while everything around us shook. And trust me, this is only month 2. February 2025, where South Africa came under fire. Now, one of the biggest stories of February 2025 was the war Trump started against South Africa. February began with something none of us expected. The President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, waking up on February 3rd, logging into Truth Social and firing shots straight at South Africa. No warning, no diplomacy, just lies. Big, bold, global, loud lies. He claimed that South Africa is confiscating land and treating certain classes of people very badly. A recycled propaganda lie from 2018, the white genocide theory, revived again in 2025.
Mr. President, you said, so on Truth Social, you said that you were going to cut aid from South Africa. Will you plan to cut aid across other African nations, and why South Africa?
No, it's only South Africa. Terrible things are happening in South Africa. The leadership is doing some terrible things, horrible things. So that's under investigation right now. We'll make a determination. And until such time as we find out what South Africa is doing, they're taking away land, they're confiscating land, and actually they're doing things that are perhaps far worse than that.
And on the Fed.
And then he went further. On 8 Feb, Trump signed an executive order cutting aid to South Africa.
And that's big trouble for them.
You've said a lot about South Africa in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's hosting the G20 summit this year. Are you planning to attend this, or are you skipping it and telling your cabinet to not?
Well, we'll see what happens, but the South African situation is very, very dangerous and very bad for a lot of people. There's tremendously bad things going on, including the confiscation of property, and worse, much worse than that. You know what I'm talking about. And we're not making any payment until we find out what's going on in South Africa. Yes, please.
What's next for Gillon?
Just like that, with one signature, Trump cut off funding based on disputed and misleading information. South Africa was forced to go on the defensive. Ramaphosa did respond to him during his SONA State of the Nation address, and he said that we will not be bullied. Here's what he had to say.
We are witnessing the rise of nationalism, protectionism, the pursuit of narrow interests, and the decline of common cause. This is the world that we, as South Africa, a developing economy, must now navigate. But we are not daunted to navigate our path through this world that constantly changes. We will not be deterred. We are, as South Africans, a resilient people, and we will not be bullied.
A powerful moment, but February became a month where South Africa had to fight for its truth on the world stage. And then when we thought, just as we thought that things couldn't get any worse, Elon Musk joins the fire.
USA, 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 USA. Yes.
And I just want to say thank you for making it happen. Thank you.
Why are there racist laws in South Africa? That's the first problem. That's what you should be attacking. It's improper for there to be racist laws in South Africa. The whole idea with what Nelson Mandela, who was a great man, proposed was that all races should be on an equal footing in South Africa. That's the right thing to do, not to replace one set of racist laws with another set of racist laws, which is utterly wrong and improper. So that's the deal, that all races should be treated equally, and there should be no preference given to one or the other. Whereas there are now 140 laws in South Africa that give that basically give strong preference to if you're a black South African, and not otherwise. And so now I'm in this absurd situation where I was born in South Africa but cannot get a license to operate in Starlink because I'm not black.
Well, it looks
Does
like
that
that's
seem
about.
right to
It
you?
looks
Does
like
that
that.
seem right to you?
Looks like that's about to change.
I just asked you a question. Please answer. Does that seem right to you?
Elon Musk, born in South Africa, raised here, he knows this country, yet in mid-February he claimed that South Africa's laws were openly racist. He said Starlink was being blocked because he wasn't black, turning a complex regulatory issue into racial fuel. Just as we thought that things couldn't get any worse, AfriForum entered the picture. 2 days after Trump cut off aid to SA, on 10 Feb 2025, AfriForum published an official statement responding to Trump's executive order. Here are their exact words, quoted directly. AfriForum expressed its great appreciation for Trump and the U.S. recognition of the injustice to which Afrikaners are subjected in South Africa. Imagine, at a moment when the rest of the country was alarmed by Trump's misinformation, AfriForum publicly expressed appreciation. They continued, and I quote, "The executive order is a direct result of President Cyril Ramaphosa and his government's irresponsible actions and policies." And finally, and I quote, "Urgent solutions must be found for the injustices committed by the South African government against Afrikaners and other cultural communities." These are their words, unchanged. South Africans reacted with shock, disappointment, and confusion because while the nation was dealing with a diplomatic crisis, the statement appeared to applaud the very narrative that placed the country under global scrutiny. Again, these are their published words. So on the one hand, they insisted Afrikaners' future lies in Africa. They insisted they were committed to staying. And this is where many South Africans felt a deep contradiction. How do you praise a foreign president for intervening, calling your government irresponsible, celebrate global pressure, and at the same time declare that your future lies in the country you're portraying as unsafe and discriminatory? These are their words, and this contradiction is what the public reacted to. But it gets stranger. While AfriForum was lobbying Trump, praising him, and positioning themselves as truth tellers, they accidentally triggered a conversation that could have hurt the very people they claimed to defend. In their February 2025 mission to Washington, they highlighted concerns over AGOA, the African Growth and Opportunity Act, and then, almost ironically, their lobbying contributed to Washington's considering of South Africa's AGOA's benefit. If Trump pulled AGOA, the blowback would hit agriculture hardest, including white commercial farmers. So AfriForum's own memo admitted that if AGOA is withdrawn, it will cost thousands of South Africans their job. So imagine the contradiction. They ran to Washington to get Trump's attention. They celebrated when he recognized their struggle. They applauded the executive order, but when Trump began looking at AGOA, which would hurt their own communities, they had to backpedal. What a political own goal, a diplomatic boomerang, an unintentional self-sabotage. And every part of this is documented by them, by Reuters, by official releases. So now, February was hard enough with AfriForum, Elon Musk, and Trump. Things couldn't get any more weirder, right? That's what you would think. But no, we had to experience the DA versus the ANC regarding the Expropriation Act. On 10 February 2025, the DA filed papers in the Western Cape High Court to challenge the act, calling it unconstitutional. They argued the act gave the state sweeping powers to expropriate property without adequate compensation. They demanded it be struck down in full. At the same time, the ANC accused lobby groups of spreading misinformation and undermining South Africa's sovereignty.
I've heard that AfriForum and Solidarity have met representatives in the US government, and they're doing precisely what we said we as South Africans should not do. We should stop running to other countries. We should discuss our own problems here and find solutions. And that in many ways confirms our own sovereignty. It confirms our standing as a free and independent nation, a nation that can stand proud amongst many other nations and being able to say, we can solve our own problems. We may differ here, but we will find solutions to whatever problems we have, and we have the wherewithal to be able to do that. So I would say we stay here, we solve our problems here, and we embrace one another, and we build a nation. We will never be able to build a nation by just going to complain to other nations in the world. That's how we solve problems.
This fight wasn't just about land, it was about power, about property, about the soul of economic justice. And Ramaphosa did respond directly. In his reply to the SONA debate, he said, our progressive policies will be implemented, they will not be diluted by the GNU. That was the line that defined February, because the GNU is a 10-party coalition with opposing ideology. The DA wants strict property rights. The ANC insists on non-negotiable land reform. So Ramaphosa made his position clear. We will work with the GNU, but we will not abandon transformation. We will not water down progressive policy, and we will not step back from land reform. It was a direct response to the DA's challenge. So here it is. February was a very challenging month, a month full of drama, full of chaos, full of international fights and misinformation. But what it taught us, if it taught us anything, it's that this country carries weight that most nations would collapse under. We live through storms that don't make sense. Somehow, we still wake up, hope, work, and build. That month alone, February alone, a foreign president targeted us with lies. A billionaire amplified a distorted picture of our democracy. A lobby group thanked Washington as if our sovereignty was optional. A political party filed treason charges in the middle of a diplomatic meltdown. GNU partners clashed publicly. The DA took government to court. Ramaphosa promised transformation would not be diluted. Home Affairs stumbled into another tender scandal. The SABC drowned in political interference allegations. Municipalities misused funds. Health departments wasted resources. KZN mourned assassinated leaders. And MK fought itself more than its opponents. South Africa, this was February. 1 month. 1 month. That felt like a year. A month where stories collided so fast you could barely breathe, where political drama unfolded with no pause button, where reality felt heavier than fiction. And this is why news and politics exist, to remind you, to archive what they hope you forget, to replay what matters, to expose contradictions, to return the truth to the people. Because South Africa deserves a record, a timeline, a witness. We have been gaslit for too long, distracted for too long, overwhelmed for too long, but not here, not anymore. This is News and Politics. I'm Nikiwe Nemo. Please share the video so we can reach more and more people. Subscribe and comment down below. Let me know what you think about South Africa and everything that has happened so far. Until next time, stay winning.